Hello and welcome to the new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the Shadow Tentacruel in the Open Great League. This Pokemon was actually a surprise release, going to be available from Sierra, which was not announced prior, so that's kinda cool. This is a completely new Shadow Pokemon as well. So usually they never done this before, so this is kinda a cool thing from Niantic at least. We got like one extra Shadow Pokemon there, which is kinda nice. And so we're gonna take a look today on what this Pokemon can really do. Basically, if you want to use the Shadow variant of the Tentacruel, you're going to be locked in one moveset, and the moveset is going to be on the right side already. You have to run Acid Spray, otherwise it does not make any sense at all to go for the Shadow variant, because yeah, basically your main benefit is going to be the extra damage that you're going to do from especially your fast move, and if you run something like Sludge Wave or Blizzard, you just don't really benefit as much anymore compared to, for example, the Acid Spray. But also, what you kinda have to keep in mind, Tentacruel actually has pretty good bulk usually, and for a Shadow Pokemon it's not usually what you kinda want to have. So let's see what this Pokemon actually can do, if it's going to be better or worse than the normal variant. As you're going to have a team here of Umbreon, the Toxapex here as our Say-Stop, which is kinda clear because it's the same typing, and then we're going to have the Tentacruel in the back trying to sweep endgame. Here, the opponent definitely going to forfeit as they're going to have an Azumarills in the back, and we can move on to the next opponent. The team itself could have been maybe a little bit better. I was actually wanting to run the Lickitung as well, like Lickitung in the lead, as well as the Say-Stop of Annihilate, but I decided against it because I just played those two Pokemon basically in every single team prior, and I didn't really want to do this again. So that's why I want to do something like more different here. I never played Toxapex recently. Plus, I also like played the Umbreon in the game for the Hisui Cup there, but like Hisui Cup completely got changed afterwards, which was kind of annoying as well. So like if you're wondering why you're not allowed to use Umbreon anymore or Gliga anymore, it's because Niantic screwed up their wording apparently. But I already made it basically a community post anyway towards this kind of topic, so yeah, that's why I'm also not gonna most likely do anything really now, at least for the Hisui Cup. I think the Hisui Cup is kinda bad. I might do something for the second week, but yeah, not for now. We're going to stick with the Great League, sticking with those new Shadow Pokemon as well, gonna showcase them all eventually. But here, as you're gonna see, the opponent is running the Obama Snow against us, and this is going to be amazing, as we now going to be 2 shields down, but we can go for the full farmland against the opponent. The Shadow damage is going to really add up against the Obamas now, and so we're going to only have the Clodsire in the back. We can go for this gold, and we can get the knockout here. Good game to the opponent. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have the Skarmory here, and I kind of maybe want to talk a little bit about now the Pokemon itself and if it's better in Shadow or not in my experience with this. I feel like both variants are fine. I think both of them are kind of decent, and both of them have their own kind of benefits and issues or whatever, but I definitely think that the Shadow is better than most people expect. Like I know in like the rankings or whatever, the Shadow variant of the Tentacruel is way lower than the normal variant. I actually definitely enjoyed the extra damage quite a bit, because especially in matchups that you don't really want to be in, for example against the Sableye or whatever, you're actually able to do way more damage with a fast move alone, even though it's like resisted just because of the Shadow bonus. So especially in the 2 shield scenario, and if you want to play for the 2 shield scenario, this Pokemon is really strong, and so I definitely enjoy this one quite a bit. Definitely something that I would recommend you to try to get, just to have it. Like right now, I have to say, I would not recommend you to run Tentacruel at all. If you take a look at the current meta, you have Whiscash, which is completely hardwalling Tentacruel. You're going to have the Skarmory, which is going to completely hardwall the fast move of the Tentacruel as well. You're going to have Charger Bug, which is going to completely destroy you. Even Annihilate is going to be able to resist the fast move of your Tentacruel. So like, the meta right now is really unfortunate for this Pokemon. I would not really recommend you to try it out in the current meta. Gliga as well, looking at this one, it's just very tough to play. Also, it's very tough to play if the Whiscash is getting the debuffs the entire time, which happened to me especially in the first set. I actually started here with the second set because it went way better than the first set, but the first set you're going to see at the end as well. Here I didn't get a debuff, and this was the first time I didn't get a debuff. In the first set, every single time I encountered a Whiscash, which I think was every single game, I got a debuff like immediately, and like I don't think they never, like I think actually they always debuffed me with a Scald in the first set, and this just changes things. So this is a thing as well which I don't really like about the Open Great League right now. Like those chances completely shift around an entire game, which is just so unfortunate. So like if you just get unlucky with those coin flips the entire time, you have no way of really winning a lot of games. And so it's literally unfortunate here, as they're going to actually be able to catch a Scald, and we actually don't get debuffed here as well. We're going to see the Venusaur in the back, which is kind of amazing for us, as they're going to have a matchup which we kind of want to be in now as well, because the Toxapex can actually still survive a move from the Venusaur. I can bait them with a Brine, which is kind of nice as well, so it's going to force force them to most likely go for their own charge move very soon, as I would be able to still reach another one. And so the opponent is deciding to go for their charge move. Frenzy Plant is coming through. I can go into my Umbreon, go for the foul play. I expect that they would use a shield here because they have a lot of energy, but they actually don't. And so it's going to be a Skeldurge in the back, and after they saw my water type Pokemon, they decide to forfeit. Next opponent, we're going to have a Dragonite in the lead, and this Dragonite is going to be definitely an okay matchup for us. We can go for the foul play before they can go for the superpower. They definitely want to go for a superpower against Dark-type Pokemon, and after this I can swap out. And this is the cool thing about Toxapex. I actually really enjoy Toxapex, I have to say. This Pokemon can just take every kind of hit. Like, it does not really matter what's going to hit it, it's kind of fine. And even against matchups against Lantern, which is really cool, the Sludge Wave plus the fast move is really adding up, forcing them as well to go for a Thunderbolt against us is going to be amazing. Like, this Pokemon was a lot of fun to play, so for like the Pokemon that we have on the team, definitely the Toxapex is something that I would recommend you to maybe try out again. Here we can even go for a Brian, maybe forcing a shield. Let's see if the opponent is going to fall for it. They do not, but it's going to be okay still because it can swap into our Umbreon. And I hope that I can farm down the Dragonite later on with my Tentacruel, so the opponent might be ending up in a matchup which they don't want to be in, and then getting basically the acid sprays on them. But let's take a look at this. We're going to be able to knock them out here. They're gonna come in back into their Dragonite, allowing me to now go into my Tentacruel, farming them down, and they have a Whiscash in the back. And I was like, no, this was exactly the one Pokemon that I don't want to face here. With the Mud Bomb that they're gonna get to that fast, it's going to be just way too awkward, but I can go for the Acid Spray. And this seems like a weird matchup, or like weird play in general, because Scald has the option to debuff their attack, and that's what I'm gonna most likely go for pretty soon here as well. Exactly, I'm going to go for it now, because I know that after this debuff, I think they should be in range for just one foul play. And so I decided to go for the Scald, didn't get the debuff, of course, why would I? But they're definitely in range for one foul play now, but I just have to hope that I can reach it. I have to hope that I am not going to get debuffed by their own Scald. I know that they have a ton of energy and they must be super close to 2 moves. First Scald coming through, they don't get the debuff, and we can actually get the move off. And the first set was a 4-1, which was like really nice here for today. Second set, or actually this was the first set that I played. We have a great lead here, but we're going to have the issue against Annihilate. Mostly I should have swapped out earlier, but honestly I don't even know in which Pokemon I'm supposed to swapping into here. We can stay in for a little bit, which is going to weaken them up, and I can go for a Brian now, which should nearly knock them out, at least with our, what's called our Toxapex here, which would be really cool. But again, like, this Pokemon is going to be a little bit of an issue for this team as well. And like the original team, at least, I had this Pokemon myself, basically. I also know now that a lot of people actually start using Night Slash on this Pokemon, which is kind of funny. But here we're going to see that they are going to be able to get the knockout. I can still go into my Umbreon, farm them down. But it's still not going to be as ideal, as they're going to have a Talonflame in the back. Maybe we still have a chance here, actually. Let's take a look at this one. Foul Play is coming through. A Foul Play is going to be able to get a ton of damage onto them, and we can swap out into a Tentacruel, as they can use a shield against the incoming Fly, most likely. They're going to swap into their Lickitung again, and I can go for the Scald, and I just have to hope, please, please debuff. 50% chance, come on, it does get the debuff, and this is so important for us, because like this, it's going to flip the entire matchup, and that's like the thing which I just hate about Scald. Like, it literally is like hit or miss. Like, if you get the debuff, it's all great. If you don't get the debuff, it's horrific. And as you're gonna see here, we're going to be able to even get the knockout against the opponent, which is kind of cool. We still have a shield, and the opponent actually decides to forfeit. Next opponent, we're going to have an okay lead. We're going to swap out still against the Superior, because we have better matchups in the back, because, yeah, Poison Jab is going to be super effective against Grass-type Pokemon here, as you're going to see the Frenzy Plant hitting us. The Lantern is coming through, and we can go for the Sludge Wave against the opponent as well. The Sludge Wave is coming through as well, going to do some decent damage, and it's actually going to look pretty decent for us, because you can even go for a Brian, which is going to force the opponent here to think that this is maybe even another, like, hard-hitting charge move, and they use a shield here, which is amazing. And so we're gonna get them insanely low. In comes now the Umbreon again. We can't take any kind of charge move. Thunderbolt is coming through, which is totally fine for me. And I know at this point that if the opponent goes back into the Superior, I would swap back anyway into my Tentacruel. So I swap into my Tentacruel already, but because I went for a Surf instead of the Thunderbolt prior, they can still go for another Surf, which you can definitely resist here, which is kind of fine. We can go for the farm down, and of course they have double electric in the back against our double water backline. This is just so horrific for us. Yeah, like, there is not a lot that I can do here. Should have went for the Acid Spray, by the way. That would have been way better for me to go for the Acid Spray. But At this point, I know that they're going to have 2 Exeter stored, so for me, I have to keep both of my shields because I know that I'm going to die from 1 Exeter already from this range. So there is no reason for me to use a shield against the Superior, and after I saw how much damage they still do, I know that this game is basically over already. I can go for 1 foul play, actually going to be able to still get the knockout here, actually still going to be able to go for a foul play as well. And I guess if I went for the Acid Spray, I actually would have put them into range where I would have knocked them out, so maybe this was actually winnable, but yeah, that was kinda a wild game. Next opponent, we're going to see another issue for this team, which is going to be Skarmory, of course. Skarmory is going to be tricky for the backline, as it's double resisting the fast move of us, which is just not really ideal. Brian is basically not going to do any damage against this Pokemon either, because Brian is a horrific charge move. And then basically Scald is the only thing that we can go for. They generate energy at the same pace, they have Sky Attack, they have Brave Bird. It's not really a great matchup with our backline. And also our lead kinda is forced to use a shield, because a lot of times Skarmory just goes for 1 Brave Bird and dips out of the matchup. Here, of course, it could not go any worse, but like this is sadly the most common core currently is the Skarmory plus Whiscash, which kind of showcases the issue of having a Poison plus Water type Pokemon in the current meta. It is just not really great, especially honestly, like it's basically just Poison type Pokemon. Poison type Pokemon are kinda in a tough spot currently. Like there are so many answers to those that it's just sometimes a little bit tricky to play against it. Here we're going to be able to get them low, but I just have to hope that I don't get a debuff here from Scald. As said before, basically every Scald that I encountered got a debuff against me in the first set that I played, and this was the first set that I played, and so the opponent is going to be able to easily survive this move now, which would have not been the case if they didn't get the debuff. But of course, if they're gonna get 1 debuff, I don't know if they actually got a debuff there or not, like you cannot really see it there, but in comes of course the Sableye, which would have been a great matchup for Umbreon, but yeah, it is just what it is. But here we can basically see what I mean with basically if you have a bad matchup and you have 2 shields left, like here we only have 1 shield left, but you can still actually just farm through them. We have 2 Acid Sprays now done, but honestly like the opponent is resisting our fast move, but you don't really see it here anymore, as you're gonna see how much damage now this fast move is going to do, because they actually don't knock us out immediately. It just chunks quite a bit. We would have been able to farm down most likely in 2 shields, but it is fine because the opponent can still knock us out. But again, it's kind of unfortunate, but it still showcases the issues with water and poison type Pokemon currently. Speaking of issues, we're going to have the Whiscash again, and here's again a thing that is just so annoying. Basically, if the opponent gets a debuff immediately in the beginning, they're going to have a great matchup against the Umbreon. If they don't, we're going to be able to have a great matchup. They're going to get the attack drop. It's a 50-50 chance the entire time if this matchup is a good matchup for you or a bad matchup for you. And this is just super annoying, and this is just like honestly something that I just don't really like here, as they're going to be able to go for another foul play. I feel like Scald should get nerfed again for the new season. I would like to see something like even 20% of a debuff chance. It still would be a strong move to go for. Like 50% is just literally, yeah, it's just not really something that I would like to see, keeping it family friendly here. But yeah, please, Niantic, nerf Scald would be really, really good for us for the entire meta, because it's just ridiculous. It's honestly the move that I want gone basically the most currently. It kind of kills the entire meta. And here we're gonna see as well that we're gonna be able to farm down at least, and we have a Gligar in the back. Isn't this lovely? I can still go for the Acid Spray basically, and I'm gonna try to catch the Dig from the Gligar, because it would be still okay for our Toxapex. Toxapex can take those digs, especially from a normal Gligar. You can actually take 2 digs here, which is kind of amazing. So Toxapex bulk is just like so nice to play around as well. But again, we will see what they're going to have in the back now. It's going to be, we will see it shortly, it's going to be a Skarmory we just saw there swapping into our Brian. So we basically do not do any damage here. They have 2 Pokemon in the back. They are completely walling our backline again. And this is just the sad truth about the Open Great League currently. It's basically Gligar, Skarmory, Whiscash everywhere, and all those 3 Pokemon are just breaking this team, or like breaking the backline. And so, yeah, I would not really recommend you to try it out right now. Like, would not really recommend you to try the Tentacruel itself. But I don't think that this Pokemon is a bad Pokemon itself. I think it's going to have a lot of play, especially in like limited meta. So definitely try to get a Shadow Tentacruel for yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and also check out the video for the Shadow Kyogre for the Great League, which is currently on the screen. So definitely do this, and see you then. Bye bye.